Last time on The Journal of Rick, the Three Perils. Armstrong's castle was attacked by the Dark Lord Blue, but some of its citizens escaped and hid in the Cave of Sadness, where Marlo decided to become their king. But there is some trouble, as many of the people are asking to leave, and Marlo believes that they should stay. And now the exciting sixth part of The Journal of Rick.
The Couch presents The Journal of Rick, the Three Perils, a book that I wrote as a kid, Part 6.
Hello, everyone, and today, this happened.
Look how big the lion is. Aren't they huge? Like the size of horses. I don't know why I said horses like that, but horses.
And now it is time for the exciting sixth part of The Journal of Rick, the Three Perils. Oh, and if you're wondering why this is called the Journal of Rick, well, you'll find out. He announced his decision to the people. Live here, many said, but it's slimy and wet and moldy, many more said. Many of the young children, whose father, or even any family member who fought in the war, danced with glee, singing, "We get to live in a cave! We get to live in a cave!" they yelled. "People, please, quiet down!" yelled Marlo, but the chattering didn't stop. "Quiet!" he yelled again. Still it didn't stop. Marlo took his powers out of his pocket. They flew around the room very fast, and then they went so fast smoke came from their end. They used the smoke to spell out the word, quiet. Everyone laughed and pointed and then fell silent. "Thank you," said Marlo, as his powers flew back into his pocket. "I am afraid there is nowhere else to go," said Marlo. "But there must be," yelled a woman. "All directions are too close to crones, or too close to sea," said Marlo. "Then we'll rest when we get near sea," said the woman again. "We have no tent. We could freeze to death without a shelter," said Marlo. "Even with a bonfire and cuddling up together in your blanket, the wind would find a way to find you, especially since it's so close to winter," said Marlo. "Why should our future lie in the hands of a child?" yelled an old man. "Because it is my job, by right, since the king is dead, to be king," said Marlo. "I remember the rules of royalty. You have to wed before you can become king," said the man. "So for now, it's the queen's decision," said the man. The people turned to her. She looked wearily from the people to Marlo, to the people to Marlo, to the people to Marlo. Finally, the queen said, "We will stay here." "Ah!" the people yelled. Wine was served, but not merely. People looked evilly at the queen, and then finished their cup. "Thanks for standing up for me, Mom," said Marlo. "What else are mothers for?" said Mary. "Cheers," she said, and quickly drained her cup. 1 year passed. The wine ran out, and everyone drank water. Hunters would go off and kill animals for food, for the people. Vegetables were gathered by farmers, and the lookout man watched in case Blue and his villains came out of nowhere unexpectedly. It was one rainy day, on the 1st of May. Jamie had gained some pounds, or so did it seem. Marlo and Ron were seeing if they could teach the powers a new trick, which is an awfully hard thing to do. The other people were talking to other people. Just then, Jamie made a jolt and started howling. "What are you yapping about?" asked John. "I haven't done nothing for a while." "She's been yelling a lot these past few days, and gained a lot of weight from what little food we got," yelled Marlo, his hands over his ears. "Maybe she's having a baby," said Moonster. "No," said John. "She's too old for that." Jamie made breathing motions and finally said, "Thanks a lot." "You're welcome," said John. "Wait, you think she might be sick or something?" asked John. "Doctor, go into the seabird room, see what's wrong with her," yelled Marlo. The doctor obeyed him and left the room with Jamie in their hand. John was sitting down on a rock. Marlo sat down with him. He was crying aloud. "It's going to be okay," said Marlo. "First my son, and now my wife," said John. "I have no one left." Marlo put his hands on John's shoulder. You've still got me, he said. John smiled. After 2 hours Jamie came out well and thinner. I've got good news, everyone. I've had a baby. And John said I'm too old, said Jamie. John ran up to her and hugged her. We had a baby, said John. Did I say a? I meant 2, said Jamie. 2, said John. Then he saw them 2 babies in the doctor's arms crying. Jamie took them. I lose 1 son and gain 2 others, said John. I'll name them Lance and Golie. And Jamie began to slowly sing. Hush, little babies, don't say a word. Mama's gonna buy you a rocking horse. And if the rocking horse don't swing, Mama's going to buy you a diamond ring. And if that diamond ring don't shine, Mama's going to buy you a... Then she stopped, for they were asleep. It's hard to believe they can sleep with all these people talking, said Moonster. Well, they are, said Jamie. So why can't we? Asked John. Oh, this and that and then. You never quit talking, said Jamie. Are you happy? Asked John. Yes, said Jamie. It looks like a happy day here in the cave, said Marlo. It sure is, me boy. It sure is, said John. 10 years passed by in the cave. 10 long years. Lance and Golie would play 10-year-old games. John and Jamie were 62. Marlo, Ron, Rick, and Moonster were 21, the age of grown-up. And Jamie was 31 years old. Ron was walking up a hill whistling to a tune. Soon he came to the great river and filled his bucket with cold water. Just then, Ron heard a twig snap. He looked around and saw 2 red glowing eyes in the bushes, and they were way too big to be a human's. In fact, they were giant and way up high, but he could not see anybody, for the woods were too dark. But he could see smoke, and it was soon filling the air. The first thought that came to his mind was dragon. Quickly he jumped in the water. He knew the dragon had hurt him, but also knew he had seen him. But most of all, that dragons aren't good divers. But as Ron looked up through the clear water, he found that it was not a dragon, but a horrible creature. It had giant eyes, as you already know. It had no ears, but had big holes for a nose. It had a droopy body and looked like silver goo. It had big dog-like feet. Its claws, horns, feet, claws, and teeth were stained yellow, and some gold. It opened its mouth, and in it was hot red. The water seemed to be sucked up by this enormous creature. Soon Ron was being sucked up into the creature's mouth. He was about to be sucked up when the creature started coughing and shivered and ran off. Ron fell down and raced to tell the others. He ran to the cave door. A guard opened the door. Quick, close it and lock it, yelled Ron, jumping in. The guard. Everyone quiet, said Ron. Silence came. There was some giant grey monster, or was it Silver? Silver monster, who may come back and eat us, said Ron. He's talking foolish. Everyone knows Cyadors are gone. They were all killed in the Battle of the Tower, said an old woman. He never said it was that, said Mary. Nor do you children know much about them. It's more of a grown-up legend. Tell me, child, could it suck things real good and have fire in his evil mouth? Asked the man. Yes, and razor-sharp claws and evil white eyes. Or were they red? Said Ron. That's Cyador, said the man. He already seemed to have a man in his mouth, said Ron. No, that was the Cyador rider, said the woman. No time for talking, said Marlo. Okay, but why didn't you guys tell me about this thing? I'm 21 years old, I'm a grown-up, said Ron. Heck, you're not a grown-up when you've got a beard as big as you and a neck that cracks, and when it does, it sounds like thunder. Then you're needing a cane, said John. No, then you're old, said Ron. Everyone laughed and quickly started packing. They pack fast, said Marlo. Oh, not fast enough, said Jamie. Lance started saying. Mommy, can we go out and play? Said Lance. No, pack your things, she said. Okay, Mommy. Hey, Golie, I'm a Cyador. Roar, said Lance. Well, I'm my dad, said Golie. The brave and the valiant defeater of evil. Looks like John has been putting thoughts in the kids' heads, said Jamie. Suddenly, the guard on the top of the cave yelled, Blue's coming! Suddenly, he fell down off the ladder. An arrow pierced through his heart. The door was being hit upon, and everyone panicked. Marlo quickly opened the back door. Everyone out, hurry and try to be quiet, said Marlo. As they all started out, Mary came up. It's no use. There's too many of them. Knock down the door before all of us can get out, said Mary. What should we do? Asked Marlo. Give me a sword, said Mary. What are you trying to say? Asked Marlo. If we were going to flee safely, we're going to need some time. Maybe if I can stop them from getting through the door real quick, maybe our people can get out quickly, said Mary. But you don't know how to sword fight. Oh, don't be sure about that, said Mary, sheathing the sword she had gotten. Goodbye, Marlo, and I love you, said Mary, and quickly climbed the ladder. Sounds of yells came, and quickly raced out of the door Marlo, quickly closing the door behind him, tears in his face. What's going on? Asked Golie. Where are we going, and why? Yeah, where? Asked Moonster. We'll try to hide, said Marlo. That's what we just did. They'll keep finding us, Blue. We'll never stop. Marlo, we have to fight them. Marlo said, we have no time. As soon as they are killed, they'll just come back. We could never defeat them. So where should we go? Asked Moonster. To the forts, Marlo finally said. They raced, no rest, no sleep. In a day or less, they had made it to the fort. We're here, said Marlo. Quick, count the boats, said Marlo. After 2 minutes, a man came up. There's 50. Not nearly enough to take us all the way. I'm afraid some of us will have to stay behind. There are some woods not far away, said Marlo. Maybe we can make some boats. We don't have enough time. Blue isn't too far behind us, said the man. Get the people in the boats and order the woodcutters to go to the woods and get trees and turn them into boats, said Marlo. Yes, sir, said the man, and he ran off. We don't have much time, he said to his grandpa. I need you to tell the people to get in the boats, said Marlo. Hurry, said Marlo, and John quickly told the people. Will this be the end? Asked Ron. I sure hope not. I sure hope not, said Marlo. 2 days later, Blue had still not come. The people were restless, but finally all the boats were made. The people cheered. Hope was strong. We have worked hard, said Marlo. By tomorrow we should be ready to leave if we make no stops in the night. Marlo, you're still crying, said Rick. Well, you would too if you'd lost your mother, said Marlo. I have. And my father too, said Rick. How did they die? Asked Marlo. I don't want to talk about it, said Rick. He left and Ron came up. We'll be leaving soon. You get packed up, he said to Ron. I should have said that in Marlo's voice. My apologies. I'm sorry, Marlo. I'm not coming with you. I see the water. I want to see a mermaid, my dream to live in the ocean, and it may come true, so will you allow me? Asked Ron. No answer. Yes, if it is what you want, said Marlo, and took a bite of apple. And that is all for tonight. As always, why not? Sweet dreams and good night.